the meetings, take the requirements and get them documented, lot of paperwork and everything before the actual thing gets started, like the development. So what I tried to do is in the Telegram, I created a chat bot where the user comes in and shares like, hey, bot, I have a requirement and I just want to share it with you. So the bot immediately replies back, okay, cool. I can do it for you. Let me just schedule the meetings. And what it does is when the meeting is being scheduled, so the user joins. The moment the user joins, the Fireflies note taker also joins in. So here the Firefly not only act as a note taker but also an assistant to the BA. So it's just like what the questions the BA will going to ask to the user, the Fireflies is going to bring up all those questions to the user over there. So the conversation goes on and the requirements are documented, the requirements are there in the transcription. And so as a next step, what it does is the bot is going to share those, basically create, it has a like an API login is there, API connection is there. What it does is it goes to the Jira, create those respective cards and attaches all those user acceptance criteria over there in the specific format that a BA follows, like in a given when-then format. So this is the Telegram trigger that I have added to the agent. So what it does is if the user goes to the Telegram trigger and types whatever the requirement is, so the AI agent starts replying to the one. And if you see the tools that's being attached, first is again the Telegram, just because the user when he or she is interacting with the Telegram, so the Telegram also needs to respond back. And Google Calendar to make use of the calendar invites. So this is the total, in total, the Fireflies. What the Fireflies does is basically scheduling meetings and getting in added to those meetings and everything. The other one is fetching all the meeting transcript if the user wants to see, watch the minutes of meeting and everything. And this is what it does is basically uh, transcript. So this is doing the transcript and everything what's needed. And this is the date and time tool. The other one is the Jira, as I mentioned already. And the last one is the Gmail tool, where the user needs to confirm back to that it's ready for the human review. So if I just take you through the steps, if you see over here, so it's like the user just texted in the bot, the AI bot responds to it, and the user now comes up with, hey, I have a requirement for a functionality in our application. Requirement is to support a new asset class. This is the options contract. Can you schedule a meeting for me from 11 to 11:50? So what the bot did was, okay, I have scheduled a meeting to discuss the new functionality for this. What was the, if you see, it's the same thing, option contract that's mentioned. It schedules the same one for that time, and it also shares the link. So the user is now ready to join through that link. So once that meeting is done, and okay, so sorry, I missed one step. So over here, the meeting link is being scheduled, and it says the user now says, okay, can you also add Fireflies to the meeting, please? So to that, the bot says is Fireflies has been successfully added, and it would be automatically transcribed and subscribed. So at this point, what's happening is this tool is being called. Basically, the user is asking the Fireflies to get added to the meeting.
So, hi Rajit. We are
Hey,
really
Alex.
glad to have you with us today. This interview is to discuss the project that you have built and the impact it aims to create. So, let's get started. So, to begin with, can you please introduce yourself?
Yep, sure. Just to give a brief background for me is just I like study wise. So I did my BTech and then did my MBA in the finance and analytics domain. Post that, I started working with different fintech organizations. So in the agent bank, followed by the developing applications, the front end web applications for the portfolio managers, also the fund managers, and now currently working in the trading domain. So all across this year, so which has been now close to 9+ years, so has been closely associated. The job role being as a BA, business analyst, or a product owner or a product management role. So yep, currently
Okay,
working with.
and
Yep.
hmm, Okay, so now can you explain your project? What did you build and what problem does it solve?
Yep, sure. So, as my job role goes, so being a business analyst in the financial domain or the trading, so what I try to solve is a real challenge that a BA face, like on a day-to-day repetitive task that goes on. So, as a BA or as a product owner, the repetitive or the daily task is to get in touch with the user, schedule the meetings, take the requirements, and get them documented. A lot of paperwork and everything before the actual thing gets started, like the development. So what I tried to do is like in the Telegram, I created a chatbot where the user comes in and shares like, "Hey, bot, I have a requirement and I just want to share it with you." So the bot immediately replies back, "Okay, cool. I can do it for you. Let me just schedule the meetings." And what it does is when the meeting is being scheduled, so the user joins. The moment the user joins, the Fireflies note taker also joins in. So here the Firefly not only act as a note taker but also an assistant to the BA. So it's just like what the questions the BA will going to ask to the user. The Fireflies is going to bring up all those questions to the user over there. So the conversation goes on, and the requirements are documented, the requirements are there in the transcription. And so as a next step, what it does is the bot is going to share those, basically create, it has a like an API login is there, API connection is there. What it does is it goes to the Jira, create those respective cards and attaches all those user acceptance criteria over there in the specific format that a BA follows, like in a given when then format. So once that's being done over there, it's now an email gets triggered to the BA, where it's being done from my side and it's being now ready for the human review. So that gives
Okay.
a lot of time to the BA. Instead of doing the repetitive task, he or she can do their like the main core BA activities. That's the development and everything that needs to be done.
Okay. And who is the target user for this project?
Target user would be like for it can be anyone, like so it's not only specific to one thing. So let's take he or she is a BA of a financial domain, so the target user is going to be the stakeholders or the you can say the sales consultant who is going to share the requirements to the product team. It can be one who is working in a health domain or a travel sector. So all the stakeholders who are there, who are ready to share the requirements to a BA from where the BA activity starts. So it can be your users, like your traders, then it can be the stakeholders and everything.
Okay. And before your solution, how was this problem being handled? Was it manually or well, has it taking like a long time consumption is also very much?
Yes, yes. So if you say it will help us to reduce almost close to 15 to 20% of the human effort. Why I say that 15 to 20% is just because uh, it's not only the meeting, right? So in case if it is an easy domain, like so I come from a background where this is into the financial, where a lot of complex discussion goes on. So that one half an hour meeting with a trader or with a portfolio manager, it's like an intense one. So you need to go back to the meeting again and again to get those details and try documenting. You need to create those acceptance criteria and everything, which is now ready for the developer. So if that to and fro movement is been reduced by the AI agent, and you have ready everything, at least the structure is ready, so which you can make use of it. So it reduces a lot of time.
Okay. And when did you join our B10X program?
It was around November,
Okay.
towards the November
And
end.
okay. And how did you design your solution approach? Like what was your initial plan? And did you change your approach during development?
No, so I had my mind set up like when that hackathon was being announced, like you need to come up with a real user problem. So I know the like this is the problem statement, this is the solution that's being needed to solve. So, and like going through the classes, it was very helpful. So, which helped me to move towards the end of the story, like basically what's there and what I need to achieve. So, like that was already decided, and yeah, I was able to achieve it. And thank God, like it's a good that it got selected. So, yeah, happy for that.
Okay. And which tools and technologies did you use in this project?
So it's the agent is the like I made use of the agentic tool like the N8N, and the then Telegram was with which I made use of the chatbots and everything, and then also the BTNX helped us with the Fireflies premium subscription, so made use of that. The other one is the Jira tool. So got a 14 days access somehow, so managed with that, so it was done. And then the other tools like Gmail also was being used to trigger the emails and everything, and also the Google Calendar.
Okay. And what alternative tools can also be used along with that? If you don't have access to these, so what alternative tools can you use?
So alternative tool, it's very friendly over here. It's user friendly. So let's say instead of Telegram, user can make use of the Microsoft Teams, which is widely used across the organizations. So instead of Telegram, user can make use of Microsoft Teams, and instead of Google Calendar, obviously it will be in the office locations. It would be the Outlook. Obviously Fireflies would be needed. That's there to transcribe and record everything. And then the other one is Jira. Instead of Jira, like in my organization, we make use of Azure DevOps. So obviously instead of Jira, we can make use of Azure DevOps board. And yeah, I think those are the alternatives.
Okay. And now, can you please walk me through your project flow step by step from input to final output? You can share your screen now.
Okay. Yeah, if you see over here, so this is the Telegram trigger that I have added to the agent. So what it does is like if the user goes to the Telegram trigger and types whatever the requirement is, so the AI agent starts replying to the one. And if you see the tools that's being attached, first is again the Telegram, just because the user when he or she is interacting with the Telegram, so the Telegram also needs to respond back. And Google Calendar to make use of the calendar invites. So this is the total in total the Fireflies. What the Fireflies does is basically scheduling meetings and getting in added to those meetings and everything. The other one is fetching all the meeting transcript if the user wants to see what's the minutes of meeting and everything. And this is what it does is basically uh, transcript. So this is doing the transcript and everything what's needed. And this is the date and time tool. The other one is the Jira, as I mentioned already. And the last one is the Gmail tool, where the user needs to confirm back to that it's ready for the human review. So if I just take you through the steps, if you see over here, so it's like the user just texted in the bot, the AI bot responds to it, and the user now comes up with, hey, I have a requirement for a functionality in our application. Requirement is to support a new asset class. This is the options contract. Can you schedule a meeting for me from 11 to 11:50? So what the bot did was, okay, I have scheduled a meeting to discuss the new functionality for this. What was the, if you see, it's the same thing, option contract that's mentioned. It schedules the same one for that time, and it also shares the link. So the user is now ready to join through that link. So once that meeting is done, and okay, so sorry, I missed one step. So over here, the meeting link is being scheduled, and it says the user now says, okay, can you also add Fireflies to the meeting, please? So to that, the bot says is Fireflies has been successfully added, and it would be automatically transcribed and subscribed. So at this point, what's happening is this tool is being called. Basically, the user is asking the Fireflies to get added to the meeting. Once this is done, so the user says, okay, fine, thanks, I will go and share my requirements over there, to which the bot gives a friendly reaction like, okay, have a productive one. If you need anything after that, let me know. So once that's done, so user now goes to the meeting, share his or her requirements over there. And so this is done. So now the next step is the user is asking, can you please share the meeting of the minutes for that we had. So the bot replied back, the meeting for the new functionality option contract that has been done. And so here are the minutes of the meeting. So once the minutes of meeting is done, so the maybe the user might be curious to know, okay, I am interacting with the bot. What is being gathered over there? I just need to have a look. And he says, okay, fine. That's what I have just said in the past 15 to 20 minutes, and it looks good. Okay, so what you can do is now, can you please create a Jira story for the same and share it on the board? So to that, the bot replied back and said, okay, it's there on the board with this ticket number and everything. And now the user is saying, okay, it looks good to me. Can you now send an email? So here I have just added mine. So this is the requirement over here is to share it to the actual BA, whoever is there in that project. So once that's being done, the bot says, yes, I have shared it to, like, basically send an email confirmation to that, like it's ready for human review.
Okay, and now can you like run the workflow?
Okay. Like you mean to do it over here, like running it, or just the screen recording of that I have done?
No, no, no. You can live run it. Right.
Live run it. Okay, for that one. Okay, let's. Maybe I will just rename this one to something else. But Mudit, one more thing over here is in that case, we would need to schedule one meeting inside a meeting. So basically, now we are already doing one live, like a meeting sort of a thing. In order to do this step, so basically, a meeting needs to be scheduled, and then I need to join that meeting and share my details. Like, does it work?
Okay, you can then explain. I think you will already explained. I think then. Yeah.
Yes, that I did. So
Okay, okay, sure.
mainly, I can show you still here what's the happening. So maybe only this
Yeah,
step
till
will.
yeah, till that step only you can show me.
Okay. So if you see, let me just rename this one to something else. Maybe just instead of options, I will make it as like forward contract. Can you schedule? Let me open up the Gmail in the meantime. Oh, sorry, I think I made a mistake over here. So it's already 12. So looks like something is breaking with it. And just a second. Okay, looks like it's behaving a bit different now. So okay, somehow it's getting replied, but it's coming on the N8 agent itself. It's somehow not getting triggered over here. So
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I will move on to the next question. So now, can you let me know where exactly did you use AI in this project? You can stop
So
sharing. Yeah.
okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see over here, this is the agent that's being used, and this is the chat model. So if I just take you to the chat model, so basically making use of the GPT 4.1 mini, and if you see this, there is a memory being attached to it, so that the AI remembers what is being asked, and it doesn't goes on asking the same repetitive questions. And if I go to the AI agent, so if you see, this is the prompt that's being used. So if I just yeah, so if you see, I have given clear instructions to the bot. Like your responses needs to be very clear, professional, and structured, and always make use of the Telegram message sender. So and then you have like absolute. Okay, and then it's just like absolute prohibitions are there. So if you just saw what was happening during that demo, like it was not replying to the Telegram bot, so that was an issue. So to that I always give these guardrails, like never respond without a Telegram tool, but then it somehow it's again bypassing this one, so I need to make it a bit more improvised again. So this agent sometimes goes on like hallucinating. So because I have tried so many iterations and everything, it has happened. So I need to just do a memory boot and just do it, and never guess the dates, never create event without any required fields, never skip validation, and never hallucinate. So these are the must like guardrails provided to the agent. And now if I take you to the top, so it says like you are a intelligent, precise, a BA assistant bot. You are always response through the Telegram message sender, and then these are the tools I have given over here. So basically the Telegram message sender, date and time, which is going to help you to calculate the dates, Google Calendar to create the events, Fireflies to take you through the addition of the Fireflies to the meeting and generate the meeting transcripts and everything, Jira to create the Jira stories and the Gmail. And now these are the execution rules that's being added. So if you want, I can just take you through the them in details, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can. Yeah, and you can now let me know what part required human logic instead of AI in this.
Like in this workflow, or you mean outside this work?
Eh, This project.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Like
I'm
this
asking
project.
that which part of this project requires human logic instead of AI.
Uh, so
This workflow
in
only
the
you can tell me here.
So in this workflow, it's mainly the AI agent who is using the logic, everything from end to end. Like over here, there is no human intervention, but the human intervention starts post this one. So what happens is like if I just take you to the email, like when I did the project, uh, yeah, if you see this one, so once the requirement and everything was been completed, the bot replied back like these are your minutes, this is the Jira story. Now it says this requirement session is now pending for human review. So from here the human review starts into picture. So what will the human like will do over here, the BA or the product owner, he or she will go to this ticket. So basically if I go to the Jira, dashboard, you see there is a card that's being created, the support for new asset class options contract. So if you now click on this one, if I just expand it, so you see everything is being given in details. Like given the application currently supports the equities and the future asset class, when the onboarding user is trading option contract, then the system should support the option contracts with a clean, efficient, and effective UI. And as a part of the option, what is needed, the user also needs these functionalities, the delta, gamma, theta, vega, and the rho parameters. It also needs a fast, smooth, and a lag-free performance UI. So then also coming to the timeline. So this was something being asked by the Fireflies. So the MVP timeline is approximately 2 months. When planning the feature launch, then complete the design, UAT testing, and deployment within the time.
Okay,
So this
okay.
is how the details. So these are all done by the bot, but now it's for the human to review. Okay, let's say like if I'm just reviewing this one, to me this one is okay, but what exactly the trader wants over here or what exactly the user wants over here, for that I need to get in touch with the user. But at least I got a high level structure in front of me from where I need to get started.
Okay, okay. Now my next question to you is that which part of this project did you personally implement end to end?
So uh, personally I implemented the full part only, it's just
Okay,
me
okay,
only.
okay,
There was
okay,
no, but obviously the classes that were being done, it helped me a lot to like which tools and
okay,
where it needs. But it was like a full mine only setup, like end to end implementation.
okay. Now you can stop sharing it.
Yep. Sure.
So yeah, and so what was the biggest technical challenge you faced while building this project?
The biggest technical challenge over here is so if you saw, I was making use of the Telegram trigger. So basically,
Hmm.
the user comes to Telegram and goes on sending the chats and everything. So sometime what it happens is the Telegram doesn't respond back. Like the Telegram is responding, but it's sharing the response to N8N. It's not sharing back the response to the user. So that's the biggest challenge which I went on changing the prompts every time so that it worked. But today again, if you just saw, it was not responding back to the user. So it was responding back everything in the N8N. So that's the biggest challenge. So the prompts needs to be modified sometimes, and again the memory refresh needs to be done. So that's the biggest challenge. And maybe this is a free account of N8N, so that's why it's causing something. Maybe a enterprise level account would not create those kind of like issues and everything. So that's also
Okay,
a possibility.
okay. And how did you debug or solve it?
So debug or solve was like I went on improvising the prompts that's being used in the agent. And obviously, so in the N8N, there is an option. So basically, making use of AI to make better AI workflows. So in N8N, there is an option to ask or build. So I was triggering the application, the AI which is used in the application to make my workflow even better.
Okay. And what type of data does your project handle and how do you process it? Like any type of data if your project handle right now?
It can be, so as I said, this is purely for a BA or a product owner point of view. So
Hmm.
whatever the user is sharing it, so whether that's your financial data or that's your like a hospital, any domain data, whatever the user is sharing, this project should be able to handle that.
Okay. And what real impact do you see in this project? Like any
So
productivity improvement percentage,
yeah,
any number you can give?
yeah. So as I mentioned at the starting, it's going to help at around roughly 15 to 20% of the hours reduced.
Okay. And if suppose 100 users start using this project, what changes would be needed in performance, automation, infrastructure?
In automation infrastructure.
Yeah. If suppose a large number of users start using this project simultaneously, then.
For that, obviously, the what I feel is just basically we need a good AI model. Like basically over here, I'm making use of the GPT 4.1, maybe something a bit more stronger we need, and that should work it. but the point is we need to like that's I haven't tested that workflow, but for that I would like to test it. Like maybe once that's being deployed to a n number of user, let's say as you mentioned 100, so we need to see and go on changing the models. But otherwise, there won't be much of a problem with it.
Okay. And now you can let me know how this journey till now has changed you as a person.
Like journey means you mean to say from the
AI journey,
AI
be
journey
10x
in
journey. Yeah,
BTNX? Yeah,
yeah.
actually, it helped me a lot. So previously, what I used to know only about the AI tools, just being the ChatGPT or something like mainly the Gemini. So only those names I used to know, and just typing a text over there for getting outputs. But that was just like something like a initial maybe 1% of AI. But after going through the course, I came to know the main thing which I liked over here was the AI workflows that was being taught to us, the agents and
Mhm.
the best use of the N8N. So I simply like this tool N8N, which I didn't had any clue earlier. So that was something I liked it, and it actually makes your job very easy. And then the clear difference what the instructors shared, like from the traditional AI to the Gen AI and then to the agentic AI, the transformation and everything. So yeah, that
Okay.
was awesome.
Okay. And what are your future goals after completing this program?
So future goal is obviously to start implementing these learnings in my day-to-day life in my organization. So to create an impact over there. So we have the center of excellence in the AI and everything. So I am nominating myself over there and trying to make the best impact over there. Already I have provided some solutions. So this was one of the solutions that I have already shared it. The thing is like in our organization we don't have the obviously the we are making use of Copilot over there. So I'm just trying to figure it out like the same workflows if can be done in Copilot, and if it can be done how like what are the different workflows that can be tried out over there. So yeah, trying to create an impact over there.
Okay. So thank you. Is there anything else you would like to add?
So like yeah, like overall it was a great course to get included. So the only thing is from my side is sometimes I feel the courses it was good to get interacted with the instructor, which I missed it just because these are all sort of a webinars instead of a live interactive classroom. So
Mhm.
that was a feedback. If it can be included, so that would have been even more great. Like instead of using the chats, if
Okay.
we can get in touch with the instructors and raise it directly,
Mhm.
so it becomes a more impactful and more
Okay.
collaborative.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for sharing your project with us. It was great connecting with you and understanding the impact you are working towards creating this. So we appreciate your efforts and wish you continued success here. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. It was a like a thanks for providing that opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Mhm.